Do women hate having sex with their husbands, boyfriends, and men in general? Absolutely not. There are people that weaponize sex though. Both sides. Don't be that person. Life is too short. It's a horrible old Western stereotype based on the days when it was unseemly for women to enjoy sex and men were assumed to be the only ones who had a sex drive and men didn't know anything about women's bodies and PIV was the only sex that mattered. The vast majority of women love sex, especially when their bodies and anatomies are taken into consideration. This stereotype is actually really harmful. Not blaming just media, public discourse in general. No, women like sex. At least good sex. This is a famous trope in popular culture. I think it comes from the fact that historically speaking, 1. Men weren't very interested in pleasuring women and only wanted to give themselves pleasure, and 2. The usual PIV sex is very unlikely to give a woman an orgasm. And if she felt pressured into it, the sex might have actually hurt. You can imagine lots of marriages were arranged back in the day, and thus marital sex wasn't very consensual for women. So all in all, a recipe for disaster. Women understood that sex is going to be either boring or painful. So they used that as a bargaining chip. But the times are changing, and women are freer to ask for their own pleasure. People bitch on social media. Very seldom do people use those outlets as a means to actual praise simple things in life like a great night of sex on them. Don't take movies and social media to be a true representation of real life. Women like sex when it's good. Have you heard of the organs gap? Many men don't feel as though they have any responsibility for their partner's pleasure and are selfish lovers. Women don't like having sex with men who can't make them orgasm or provide any pleasure. You have to know where the clitoris is. I love sex. I would have sex multiple times a day if I had a partner who could keep up with that. Lol. It's a stereotype that women just grin and bear it. Some women like sex, some women don't. Just like some men do and some men don't. No. Plenty of women enjoy consensual sex and have healthy libidos. Women don't enjoy being coerced into sex. This is a huge exaggeration of real life, manipulated to make conflict in stories. In male-female relationships, the men usually, but not always, initiate sex. So, the man tries to start and the woman either gives the go, or no, signals. TV and movies exaggerate this for entertainment purposes. In real life, women enjoy sex, too. Also in real life, everyone and every couple is unique. So the types of generalizations in media don't usually match life perfectly. Cheers. Edit. Thanks for the silver, kind stranger. Much obliged. I like sex, but I love sex with my husband. I'm in the mood for it less than he is. But that doesn't mean I don't enjoy or look forward to it. America still has a lot of Puritan influence, especially in Christian circles, and denying that women desire sex is typically and unfortunately still common. In ultra-conservative circles it's downright taboo. I can speak to it because I grew up in a pretty conservative church and endured horrible sex talks. Far too often. It makes you feel abnormal as a woman to have any desire and reduces men to sex-crazed creatures. Unfortunately, it's one of those old sexist, misogynistic views that needs to die. My husband has a low libido and I have a high libido, which often translates to him turning me down. For sex often. I would have sex with him every single day if I could. Twice a day. Preferably. My husband would prefer like once a week at most. LMAO, no way, my wife wants sex more sometimes than I do. Some women are horn dogs. Honestly, I don't like penetrative sex. I don't feel pleasure from penetrative sex. It doesn't necessarily hurt, but it doesn't feel good at all. I love being near my partner and knowing he's feeling good. But I do have sex mostly for him. It's not his fault. He's very caring and loving. He goes down on me before we have sex and usually asks if I want to come again after. He really enjoys making me feel good and he turns me on plenty. I'm wet AF and slippery whenever we have sex. But it still doesn't feel good to me. I've had 3 sexual partners total and that's how I've always felt. I think penetration just doesn't feel good to my body. Women enjoy good sex. Times where sex feels like a burden include when their partner no longer dates them. When they are merely treated as a fleshlight with no concern about the woman's desire. And when they feel emotionally distant from their partner. We hate sex when we are forced to. We like good sex. It's really easy to ruin PIV sex, but when it's done well it's amazing. I F20. Like it, but I don't have a high drive. Like 2 times a week is okay. My ex on the other hand, 10 times a week was still not enough, so I started to dislike it. I guess that it is not a we don't like it, but men most of the time forget that a woman also have some likes and dislikes about it. Social media and TVs and movies. It's an old boomer movie cliché that men are horny animals and women put up with it and use it to reward them. Millennials find it funny so they meme it on social media. Women love sex. The only things I know about sex come from social media and TVs and movies. You need to stop that immediately if you want to have a healthy and realistic view of actual, real people. Yes, plenty of women love sex and want regular sex. Men are also not all sex obsessed like a lot of people seem to believe. My girlfriend loves sex. It's all interconnected. The sex keeps getting better over time because we truly listen to each other. The better sex improves our physical relationship, but also our emotional one as well, and vice versa.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.